So I'm going to just barely touch on these campaigns because I'll be quite honest with you. I tried in my new campaign or my new account, one of the new accounts at least, and I didn't have access to these campaigns. But just in case they do pop up within your account, I want you to be aware of what they are, right? And they're called smart search campaigns. The reality of it is what they are is pretty much just AdWords Express, okay? So, where I was creating this is you have a little bit less details, right? So we'll say create new campaign. You're going to start off with this. What's your main goal? Get more calls, get more visits to your store, get more website sales or signups, right? We'll do this. So what is your goal? Most of your business is conducted online. You want customers to complete a trackable action such as a purchase or a sign up on your website, right? So pick that goal. Basically what smart campaigns is going to be is they're just going to be kind of a quicker setup for most people, right? Now, you wouldn't have been taking this course if you wanted that, right? You could automatically sign up for AdWords Express and pretty easily done the exact same thing. But the main thing that I've seen these where they're used really, really well is if you are kind of already topped out or capped out in a particular market, and let's say you want to drive a lot of phone calls. A lot of the attorneys that I've handled over the years, they would have me use these in conjunction with each other where, if they were just down on traffic or clicks, we could flip on an AdWords Express campaign and they would get a lot of traffic really quickly. The main thing to know about these, as you see, is since I'm lining this up with my business, it's going to track back to my Google My Business page, right? And health insurance quotes from multiple carriers on one call, offering individual and family policies, right? So this is the ad. These are kind of like the business name that we put in, and you put in your website, right? And then as you go through it, it's just going to be a very simple setup, right? It's like, okay, hey, I just want to target Phoenix. I want to do a radius of, 20, say 25 miles, do 25 miles around Phoenix. What is your category? And you pick categories rather than keywords. So these categories, which if you've been doing a whole lot of work through the keyword tool, you're going to notice that the categories don't always include the best keywords for your particular service, right? So if you choose one of these categories, it's going to show you what it suggests as far as keywords, right? So you can pick some down here like family health insurance plan, short-term coverage, medical insurance, specified products or services. These are kind of how you can segment this down. And what it's going to use, and as you see, the ad text, the ads are really, really simple, right? One headline, description, and it's already got your URL in there. So it's going to create the URL with the expanded, or we've got it down here actually, sorry. So it's got a lot of this in here because I've already set this up, right? But if you want to write another ad, then you just have to do this. Right? It's going to be the same. They're not going to be as full as the expanded text ads that we've covered within search before, or any of the dynamic responsive search ads either. But you do get just a pretty good kind of setup for cheap, right? So we go down through these, do a per day budget, average, and a monthly maximum is what it is. And it gives you representation of like, okay, this is how many impressions you're going to get, how many you can expect, how many clicks you can expect per month. And then we set that up, right? Click next on it. So click next. And you've got a campaign set up basically, right? So it's really, really fast in setting them up. So the downsides to this, right? And I'm going to go ahead and turn this one off and we'll look at one I've already had data in. So these over here, right, I've already got some data in here. I tried these out and they worked really great, honestly, for like the first day. I got a bunch of verified phone calls. But as you see, as it went on and I started to try and scale up in money, like the clicks versus phone calls is a lot different because these are going to be ads that are going to utilize call extensions, right? So they're always going to be at a little bit of disadvantage for me in this particular avenue because I'm trying to drive health insurance phone calls, right? So I'm using call-only ads in my other campaigns. But these aren't call-only ads. So they almost have to take 2 steps, or they just have to actually click on the number within the ad, which the number is a much smaller. You've seen what I've showed you what the call extensions look like in real life. So it's just a much smaller ad. So it's a little bit less of an experience, and especially for what I'm trying to drive, I'm not going to, get as a good an ROI. This is what the ad is going to look like, right? It has a call out here, and the number is going to display out to the right here. You can do custom hours on it. You can do scheduling. You can do some of the same adjustments, but when you're talking about managing your keywords, this is really all you can do. You can turn off keywords like, health insurance. I'm trying to think of something that would be out of line here, right? They do a pretty good job of coming up with keywords. They're not as tightly themed as your ad groups are going to be, right? But as we get down in here, they're going to be less and less relevant, right? Individual healthcare, right? Individual healthcare. Anytime I think of healthcare, I think of actual service providers, right? So that's what typically are referenced within that. And as you see, in order for me to just exclude it, I just go ahead and turn that off, and then it won't show that keyword anymore, right? But it's always going to go, and it's going to be building out your keyword list and pulling keywords in and out. So it's a much more automated service when you're running these campaigns. You can still do a lot of the same targeting, right? You still have your budget where you can lower it or raise it. Your products and services, this is more of like the categories that you fall in, and your business info is really what is going to be used to build the ads. And you can also do images on there, right? So these will run on display as well, so you can do in search or search and display. But again, these campaigns, the main reason why I'm showing you is just in case your account ever these pop up or they have a beta in that account, I wouldn't recommend using these, okay? These are going to be more for a novice user, and especially since you've already made it through the first part of the course, you should be a master at search by now, right? What I am going to tell you to use the smart campaigns on is like display and search, which we're going to go in more detail in the next two modules, or in shopping, I should say, not search. Because these search campaigns are just limited. You get much better control and you get much better response and much more efficient campaigns by using, Google Ads as AdWords, the actual Google side search, rather than trying to use some of the smart learning when it comes to search. Utilize that for some of the, the smart shopping campaigns or the display campaigns that'll start utilizing it across network, but not so much within the search network. Search network is pretty simple, and it's very, very, it very has the propensity to, if you give it too much budget, like if we all of a sudden jump this to $500 a day, then this algorithm is going to go nuts, right? And you're not going to have all the capabilities that you do have in a normal search campaign to put all the necessary barriers in there to keep it from going through the roof. And all of a sudden you're getting a whole bunch of surprises and getting pissed off at people, right? Between my experience with Google and working with them and setting, I actually sold this for Google for a long time, the AdWords Express, and then I moved over to the AdWords side. And I had more complaints with customers dealing with the smart campaigns, or in that particular age, the AdWords Express, because of the lack of capabilities of customability or customization on it. You don't have the same optimization capabilities. You can't negate as many irrelevant prospects, irrelevant terms, locations, those type of things as you can with smart campaigns. But they have popped up. I haven't seen them in my new campaign, so I'm not really sure if it's something you're going to run into, but I definitely wanted to address it so you'd have the experience and know and have proper expectations set if these do pop up in your account, where you have the capability to start building them. Primarily, when it comes to smart campaigns, stick to YouTube and shopping and display, right? Those platforms are a lot better to use the smart campaigns because they just have a greater reach and more opportunities out there, which allows for greater optimization for Google to make sure that you're getting the most out of your dollar, getting the lowest cost CPAs, and making sure you're putting more money back in your pocket. So the point of the entire lesson in here is stay away from smart search, right? Let's go ahead and dive in and utilize these tools more whenever they have a wider breadth on Google Display, YouTube, and Google Shopping networks, in order to make sure that you're getting the most out of these campaigns. And again, making sure that ROI is going through the roof and you're consistently putting more money back in your pocket. So I'll see you in the next lesson.